Stephen and Claire, great to see you.
Hi, Kieran.
Hi.
Hello. Well, I'm delighted to see Stephen and Claire today and to be talking to them because you guys have got an amazing and very moving story. Very relevant for today because it involves COVID. And in fact, you both catching COVID. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
So, Claire caught COVID first, and it was a bit like a bad flu, and she was bedridden for about a week. And just as she started to get better, I started to feel worse. And I had a really high temperature, but that was the only symptom I had. Went to hospital. They said, oh, you've got pneumonia. Put me on antibiotics, and I was home again. About a week later, the temperature hadn't come down, and I started to have problems with my breathing. Got taken back to hospital, and that was the start of nearly 2 months in the hospital. And it sort of went downhill a little bit from there.
Bit of an understatement there, I think, Stephen, because saying it went downhill a bit from there, I mean, you ended up in a coma.
Yeah, I was in a coma for a couple of weeks. Had to breathe through a tube in my throat, so I had a tracheotomy. And yeah, nothing really went right for a good few weeks. So I had problems with my heart, my kidneys, my lungs. But I'm here now.
Yeah, which I'm so pleased about. And Claire, you were saying that there was one day that, did you describe it as Black Monday?
Yeah, so I used to get a daily call from the doctors.
It was in the first lockdown, so you couldn't go and see Stephen, could you?
No, so I couldn't go and see him. The last I saw was when the ambulance took him away, and actually we thought he was just going in for some tests and then would be home. So I was at home with the dog. So I used to get a call once a day from the doctors, and we definitely had Black Monday when Stephen was on a ventilator and it just seemed his whole body was unravelling. But fortunately, that didn't last too long, and then sort of every day we had sort of incremental improvements. So,
but amazingly through it, Claire. So I know from you telling me that you kind of had a Christian faith but hadn't been to church for years. But then through a friend and a Facebook post, somebody from the King's Church, you realised that we were doing online church and you decided to tune in. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, so I just remember seeing the post on Facebook advertising the Sunday service. I'm not sure I can ever remember seeing one before. And for whatever reason, I was at home on my own and decided to watch. And it was the topic for that week was about when Jesus called your name, and it just so resonated with me. And it was also, with the worship, it was just so uplifting. And it was lockdown 1, so the sun was shining, and I had the French doors open, and it was a revelation, really, just to sort of feel uplifted and supported by the church.
Amazing. And I know then you kept connecting. I know Jim, who leads our church, was doing some sort of early morning kind of little Bible moments, and his loft sessions, you were doing that. And
it was my 7:30. I actually had an alarm. I had an alarm on my phone for 7:28 every weekday to make sure that I didn't miss Jim. And again, it was just that way when, at a time when I was at home on my own and not able to see people, it was all of those things that really helped make me feel understand that whilst I was physically alone, actually I had a huge community of people around me who were there supporting me.
Yeah. And I remember, because I think you got in touch and said, look, what had happened. And I remember even as a staff team, us praying for Stephen when he was in his coma. But Stephen, you were saying to me that, as a kid, you went to church, but you weren't a churchgoer. So it must have been a bit odd you come out of a coma, come out of hospital eventually, and you said that the staff applauded as you were leaving. I mean, it's obviously quite a moving moment. But then you get home and you find out your wife's gone kind of like religious and churchy.
It was a little bit of a shock, but as I say, we'd been both brought up with the church, so it wasn't something that was unfamiliar to us. And I got a lot of peace and well-being from listening to Jim's little messages every day, and it became a part of my day as well pretty quickly. And then we started watching the YouTube sessions as well, and then
church on a Sunday morning.
Church on a Sunday morning, and then we were introduced to Alpha, and
which is where we met.
Where we met. And
what was that like? What was that like for you? Please say it was good. Say it was good, please.
It was lovely. It was lovely to meet you and the others on Alpha. And having gone through COVID, I had suffered a lot mentally as well. And having the church and Alpha and my friends from Alpha has really helped me sort of centre myself and get some peace back into my life. And I think it was the same for you.
Yeah, I think it was just giving us, a bit of structure. We really looked forward. Our Wednesday evenings were the highlight of our week, and just having that chance to explore, what Jesus was about and what it all meant. Without it being, very serious or preachy or God bothering, as you would call it. It was just so encouraging, and again, it just helped us so much to deal with everything that we've been through. And it started a bit of a journey. We're both doing the wellbeing course now, and we've started the marriage course. So it's just fantastic that as a church, helping us spiritually, but also just with really practical stuff.
Oh, so good to hear, Claire. So good to hear. So listen, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but if you could sum up, I don't know, in maybe a word or two, or maybe a sentence, what difference would you say each of you Jesus has made in your lives?
For me, it was just about being able to cope and knowing that if I put my faith in Jesus and myself, that whatever happened, I would be able to cope. And that, for me, just meant that whilst it was an awful time, it was also special in a way, because I just felt so surrounded by love and prayer. And that was really, really special feeling. And just to always have that there is just really, really important to me now.
And for me, it helped me bring peace back into my life. I was very traumatised, both physically and mentally, from my experiences with COVID. And it's helped me to be centred and part of a community again, which I've really enjoyed.
Well, it's been such a joy for me to make friends with you guys, and thank you for being so open about your journey. I know it's very personal, so thank you so much. And listen, on Alpha, we do this every week. Whenever at the end of the session, for some reason, I don't know, but I'd always go like this. As a wave goodbye, it's kind of a weird... Guys, thank you.
Thank you, Kieran.
Thank you.